Welcome, friends, to this installment of Take 5. And before I get into the scriptures, I just want to announce something, and that is that this coming Sunday, October 11th, at the early service only, we're going to be doing a little experiment where we're going to have a worship service where we will not be having congregational singing, and we're also asking if folks would wear their mask throughout the service. Now, if you come to this service and you need a little break from your mask, or for some reason you really can't wear one, nobody's going to be calling you out or shaming you about that. And this is not necessarily a precedent either. We're not going to be doing this every week. But we wanted to do an experiment where we're just seeking ways to accommodate some of you who really do want to be in worship with others, but you just feel the need to have a little bit more safety precautions than we ordinarily do. It's become our standard. And if you want to hear more about the whys and wherefores of that, or about our general standards for coming in and out of the building in the COVID season, please feel free to talk to me or one of our other ministry staff members or one of our elders about that. Well, onward to the scriptures here, and since September, I have been following a daily reading and reflection plan that's been produced by the Moody Bible Institute called Today in the Word. If you're interested in that, you can look it up at todayintheword.com and do it yourself if you'd like to. And for the month of October, we are in Book 2 of the Psalms, which are Psalms 42 through 72, and today's reading was in Psalm 49. And this is the psalm that I think probably our expression, "you can't take it with you," comes from. And I say that because, here's one of the key lines in the psalm. It's in verse 16, where the writer says, "Do not be overawed when a man grows rich, when the splendor of his house increases, for he will take nothing with him when he dies. His splendor will not descend with him." And then a good part of the psalm reflects on the foolishness of pursuing material wealth alone, or as he puts it, material wealth without understanding. And also he talks about the folly of others of us envying those who have more than we do, and envying them simply because they're wealthy. And why? Well, because, you can't take it with you. I think all of us, we know this intellectually, and yet for a lot of us, the pursuit of material wealth is kind of front and center in our lives. And if not envy, we at least admire those who seem to be doing better at this than we are. Why is that? I think for one, because even if you can't take it with you, having material wealth sure makes life more comfortable while you're living it. And also stuff like houses and cars and vacations and clothes, these kinds of things are just so very, very tangible to us. I would submit, though, friends, that living in God's kingdom is also very tangible, and is a way of life on this earth that is ultimately so much more satisfying, because it's the kind of life that's most congruent with how we've been made. I'm talking about a way of life that really values relationships with people more than stuff, and that and where qualities like kindness, compassion, perseverance, forgiveness, self-sacrificing love, where these are seen as really, really important. And while, like the Old Testament generally, this psalm does not have a well-developed picture of life beyond the grave, there are hints of it. In verse 15, or right after he says of those who do make pursuing material wealth their chief pursuit, he says, "Like sheep they're destined for the grave, and death will feed on them. Their forms will decay in the grave, far from their princely mansions." Right after he says this, listen to this line. He says, verse 15, "But God will redeem my life from the grave. He will surely take me to himself." And then the psalm ends with these words: "A man who has riches without understanding is like the beasts that perish." The implication being that it's possible to have riches or not have riches and have understanding. And what is this understanding that he's talking about? Well, the understanding that however materially wealthy we are or are not, that to live knowing that the most significant kind of riches that we can have is a rich relationship with the living God, which again means living in light of the values of His kingdom above all else. And that doesn't preclude becoming materially wealthy, but it means recognizing that our net worth is really found in our relationship with God, and specifically in relation to the Messiah King, who this psalm writer could only look forward to, but we can look back and see as the one who came in the person of Jesus. Jesus, who said of himself, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who lives and believes in me will live even though he dies, and whoever lives believing in me will never die." In other words, physical death will not be the end of their life. So there is something you can take with you after you die, and it's also something that gives incredible blessing to us before then, a relationship with God and living according to His kingdom values and priorities. Well, friends, that is some riches that are worth pursuing. And so may God bless you richly in this week ahead. Thanks much.